So I was thinking about things that I wished I had known when I first started knitting. And now I hear from a lot of people that their biggest fear is dropping a stitch. Now I can totally understand that if you're just getting started and you can't figure out how to fix it, because then you could be in a lot of trouble if you just drop a stitch and then you have to take out a whole bunch of stuff and you don't really know how to do that either. So today I'm going to show you 3 ways to fix a drop stitch so it's not so scary. Hello and welcome back to the Knit Life Oils YouTube channel. Today we are going to go over how to fix a dropped stitch. So I'm going to do this in a couple different ways so that you are prepared for any scenario that you drop a stitch, because like knitting doesn't work when you're afraid, right? So let's take away the fear of dropping stitches and look at how to do it. Okay, so you can see here, this stitch is dropped, right? So there's the strands behind it, and then the one that's loose. So this first method I'm going to use, you can use a crochet hook, but I'm going to use this duo repair hook from Twice Your Cheap that has a crochet hook on one side and a knitting needle on the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this stitch here. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Okay. So that is the drop stitch. Now it's nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. So now I'm going to pick up the strand above it that would form the next stitch. And then I'm just going to loop it through like this. And there we go. And now I'm going to do it again because there's one more strand here. Perfect. And now I'm going to put it back on the needle. All fixed. See, it's like it never even happened. That's my favorite part of fixing a drop stitch, is that it looks like it never even happened. Okay, so that is method number 1. I don't like to use crochet hooks for stuff in my knitting just because I don't have a lot of them. I'm not a crocheter, so that's not really a method that I'm familiar with, but I do have these hooks if I need them. So the method that I prefer is the next method I'm going to show you. So we're going to do the same technique, but instead of using a crochet hook or a duo hook, we are going to use our knitting needles. So see the drop stitch here? We're going to pick up this dropped stitch with our knitting needles, if I can see it. There we go. Okay. So we got the drop stitch picked up there. Let's get the other strands out of the way. Okay, so this drop stitch is picked up. See all the strands back in the back. So you want to make sure that you pick up the next one. So the next one looks like it's, let's see if we can see. This blue one down here on the bottom, see? So I'm going to pick up this blue one with my knitting needle, and then I'm going to take the other one and lift the stitch up and over. And then we're going to find the next strand on the back. So see how you can identify them, that one's a little bit lower than the other. So this white one looks like the next one. So we're going to pick up this stitch and put it up and over. Now we've got one more, so this pink one back here. And there we go. Same thing, looks like it never happened. And if it is a little bit loose, that will adjust itself as you keep knitting or in blocking. But that is method number 2 to fixing your drop stitch. Okay, so the third one's going to be a little bit trickier because we're going to do it on garter stitch. So the horror of dropping a stitch on garter stitch is kind of something that everyone knows. We really try not to drop stitches on garter stitch just because they're a little bit harder to fix. So I did want to mention though, if you happen to drop a stitch when you are on the back side of stockinette, so the purl side is facing you and it looks like you dropped a purl stitch, flip it over to the knit side and fix it from the knit side. It's much easier and you can just keep moving. So, but if we drop a garter stitch, okay, ready? Don't freak out. I'm going to actually drop the stitch. Ready? Okay. So, okay. So we have this stitch here. And the garter stitches really like to run. So, see if we can get it back on. There we go. So there's a few different ways to do this. People kind of figure out their own method. So the one thing I want to note though is, so we've got this stitch picked up, right? So here's a purl bump down here and then a knit, purl, knit. So we want to identify when we get the stitch back on the needle, whether it's a knit or a purl. So the last stitch that was done was a knit stitch. So so the way I prefer to do this is to continue to fix it from the knit side. Well, and really it's the purl side, so that I make the purl bump on the back side. That's just easier for me. So we're gonna go down underneath all of these, and then we're gonna move this stitch back over here to this needle. And then I'm going to pick up the next strand, which looks like it's, let me see here, this one down here on the bottom. And then I'm going to do it like a knit stitch. Now watch what happened. So on the back side, this made our purl bump, right? Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side, because now I need it to be a knit stitch, but I need to move this around a little bit. So when you drop a garter stitch, you kind of have to maneuver things to get them in the right positions. And it's just what works for me. So there we go. And you can see on the back side, it made the purl stitch. So now I'm going to do this one last time on this side. Maybe I'm not. Oh no, I am. There's one more. It's back here. It's just hiding. So we're going to move that back over. And this one just jumps up and over. So now, see, it's all fixed. Literally my favorite part of fixing a drop stitch is that it's like it never even happened. Okay, so there are 3 ways to fix drop stitches. I hope that made things a little less scary for you. Make sure to save this video so that you can come back to it. And don't be afraid to drop a stitch. It's always fixable. It's just knitting. Talk to you next time. Have a great week, everybody.